Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it. We'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here from the iScrap app, and today is Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. We hope everyone is doing well, staying cool out there, and we just want to really wish our heartfelt condolences to everyone affected out in Hawaii. I know it's been a little while now, and I saw some comments about scrap in Hawaii, and that's kind of like talking about scrap in Ukraine from the horrible things that are happening. And of course, scrap gets created in these natural disasters, but it really isn't something that I focus on when it comes to pricing and things like that. So I'm not going to really touch heavily upon that, but our hearts do go out there. And if you're looking to donate to anyone, the Red Cross and other movements are already on the ground. So we've already done a donation to Red Cross, so hopefully you can do the same. So let's jump into scrap prices. What's going on with the markets? Well, in the last week or so, we've seen a lot of people asking questions, talking about air conditioners, etc. So let's jump into some of the copper markets and let's talk about what some of the prices have done in the last week or so. Week over week, we've seen copper prices increase by about 3%. We saw a bottoming out last week on a trading level around $3.62. That's been increased around 377. And if you look at some of the prices that are online right now, we'll pull some of those copper prices up. You will see, as we predicted last week, some of those market trends going down. We're going to see the copper prices going down. Bare bright prices have dipped nationally below $3 per pound, month over month, 10% decline just about for reported prices. That's to be expected. That's what we've been talking about. You know, we generally are going to have reported prices come in after the markets go down. So there's going to be a little bit of a lag time, but we have seen those prices coming down. And let me just touch on these prices because I can't tell you how many scrap yards have contacted us and say, you know, remove our name. We don't want our listing out there. And the reason they're doing it is because they don't want their prices to be out there. And the reason that we're doing what we do is transparency, price sharing, letting you know what's going on with the market. So if you're looking to get more information, we want to be able to get that into our system, and you can report your prices through the website, through the apps, through the mobile website. Just clicking submit a price, you can see right here, it's super simple. You put your state, your city, or your town, and your scrap yard name is optional, and you can select a bunch of different metals along with, you know, the denominations. We have over 200 metals that are on there that you can push. And it gives you a better idea what's going on with the market, whether in the United States or in Canada, whether it's pounds or tons. We have all of those different things as well as pennyweights. So check those out, because that price transparency is going to be the only way for you to gain more of an upper hand when it comes to price negotiation. And really what I think is going to be interesting, I've been working for 16 years now, and what I've learned about the scrap metal industry is it really helps predict and forecast where the economy is as a whole. And I'll give you an idea about that. When we see a lot of small peddlers coming in, that means the economy is generally doing well and the markets are up. When we start to see peddlers not coming in as often, right, that's when we know that people stopped replacing their air conditioner, their grill, their electronics, and they're making things last longer, right? That's what we've seen on the used car markets and other things like that. So right now, when I look at these markets, they're good, right? I think that they are good. I did a video earlier today, and I talked about how the amount of money produced from 2020 through the end of 2022 by the government really kind of falsely propped up some of these prices. So like steel prices are a little higher than they were during March of 2020, kind of the low period, but the amount of money that was produced really kind of skews where the markets are, because when you increase the dollar, the supply of dollars by 35%, it really changes the pricing structure. So you know, $2 copper 5 years ago is not the same as $2 copper today. And it's important to keep that in mind when you're going out there. And that's why using the website and a lot of these prices are going to help you. But over the last week, market movement, copper prices have trended up. I really don't like copper right now. We're hovering in a 360 to $4 trading range. And when you look at some of these prices that are up here, right, a lot of people are still holding on to materials. When I look at number one tubing, 290, number one flashing, 294, number two, 269, I look at the number two in the Bear Bright a little more than I look at some of the others, just because those are items that are going to be scrapped a little more often and they have a little more running room. An example, windings from an electric motor could go as a number two copper. So, it's not going to go into that number one tubing category. So these are things that I look at with some of these reported prices. But I just don't see good stuff happening right now. I mean, I hear nothing good coming out of China. I heard something the other day that they were restricting some of the data on their youth unemployment numbers, and that 1 in 5 of their youths are not working at all. So I think that was 16 and older. That's not a good sign, because if less people are working, what are they doing? They're spending more time on their phones, and they're probably not buying as many devices because they're not having a lot of extra money, right? These phones are sucking people in where they don't want to work as much because they just think that they want instant gratification, and working for an hour to make $15 is no longer gratifying, right? Especially when they start getting their first paychecks coming in. And that's what we're seeing happening in China right now. They're having very low youth employment rates, and the Chinese have a requirement on military service, right? So they take their youth out of the markets for a couple of years and they have to serve in the military, but we're not seeing growth in China, right? We're just not seeing that. And I continue to talk about India, and India's growth has happened, right? I read an article of how Apple is expecting to produce a massive amount of iPhones in India opposed to China this year. They're going to produce in both, but they've already ramped up, and the Indian factory is 2 to 3 weeks behind production levels of the Chinese factory. That's really good, but we still need more infrastructure in India. We need more stability throughout the world markets. And we're just not seeing that right now when it comes to growth. I saw in South America that they were closing one of the mines because the copper prices didn't warrant them continuing to produce what they wanted to produce, and they were focusing on other better producing mines. So that means reinvestment in the mining industry is ticking down because the copper prices are not there. And it takes a long time to take ore out of the ground and refine it into a new metal. And on the recycling, the scrap side of things, I've talked about this in the past, an aluminum can be back onto the shelf as another aluminum can in 30 days. Copper generally is about a 60 to 90 day turnaround from recycling it to being back on the shelf, but it takes a lot less energy than it would for copper ore or iron ore to be refined. So these are little things that we piece together and we look at. So let's talk about I'm going to do a scrap story of the week, and then I'm going to parlay it into air conditioners, right? A few years ago, I had the opportunity to do a job in Piscataway, and it was a really interesting job because we were lifting commercial chillers and air conditioners off of a roof, 12 stories high. And I didn't have to rent the crane, but I had to line up the trucks, and I had to help with some of the road permits. And what we did was we shut down a section of Piscataway. And those of you that have not visited New Jersey before, Piscataway is a bigger town. Rutgers is close by, but we had to shut down the main road of the town, which was really, I don't want to say neat. It was kind of neat though, because I'd never done that before. We shut down the main road. We had police at either side. A crane was positioned, and I was required to get 12 48-foot flatbeds on site at one time because they had 2 cranes going. So I had 12 flatbeds on a Saturday morning. They did this work on a Saturday and a Sunday. And we had the crane booming down these chillers onto these trucks. And because there was multiple cranes working, we were getting them left and right for about an hour at a time, and then it would slow down for 2 hours. But it was really neat because we just had trucks rolling. They would come back to the yard, get unloaded, and go back for another trip. And we ended up doing like 18 or 19 total trips in the 2-day period. But the air conditioners, they and the chillers and a lot of these condensing units, they have a lot of copper in them. So we were able to take them apart, and you're going to see a picture that's going to pop up of an example of one that would come. This is an example of one of the units that came in. This is not a chiller. This was more of an air conditioner. Behind those louver doors, you can see, you can't see, but behind those, there are big air conditioners, ACRs inside. So it was nice as we were able to take all the doors off, open everything up, cut the wire out. And then from there, we were able to just use our saw and cut right down so that ACR end kind of was left inside the carcass, but the beautiful ACR coil was able to fall out, stack on pallets, and then we were able to ship it out and be on our way. So just my scrap story of the day. And to lead into air conditioners from that, air conditioners are one of the best items that you can come across when it comes to scrapping, especially during the summer and the fall. So reasons why we've had a lot of videos on these, both showing you how to take them apart as well as blogs. So make sure you search our YouTube page to get some of that information. But think about what an air conditioner is. You got steel, you got copper, you got an electric motor, you got a sealed unit, you have insulated copper wires, right? You have the ACR coil going around. And of course, once in a while you can get an aluminum coil opposed to aluminum copper, and that still stinks, but it's still worth taking that air conditioning unit apart. Now, things that I really want to keep in mind, we mentioned this last week, you want to make sure that you're draining the Freon correctly. Right now, I know that I talked to a Freon draining company recently. They charge between $10 and $25 per unit to come out and drain it, but they give you a credit of $2 per pound for the gas that's pumped out of it. So a household air conditioner could have about 5 to 10 pounds of gas. So you're looking at $10 to $20. You might be able to hook up with a good company where you tell them what you do. Hey, I'm a part-time scrapper. I want to store 15 to 20 units. Would you come out and do them at that point so I don't have any contamination to the environment, any health harms to myself? And a lot of those companies will. They schedule out about a week in advance. They'll come to your house or to your business, pump the Freon and the oil out. That just lets you know that when you go to the scrapyard, everything's already drained. It makes for cleaner scrap. And most of the time, you're going to be able to offset those costs just through the gas that's going to get pulled out of there. So that's a really good thing for you to keep in mind. Really nice profit. A smaller air conditioner could go anywhere from $20 to $100 when it comes to dismantling everything and reselling it. So just something to keep in mind there, and check out some of the videos that we've already posted about those. Steel prices, we talked briefly in the beginning about this, they have kind of bottomed themselves out. If we look at some of these markets right now that will pull up light iron prices, let's pull up the light iron prices here. It should be around $140 per ton. Here we go. 144 is where we're at. Cars, 150. You can see some of the prices that have been reported the last few days. 6 cents a pound, 155 a ton, 170 a ton. So if we go back to the steel list, some of the heavier grades, number 1 unprepared, 235, number 2, 195, 192. So these are still strong prices. I don't see any strong markets for the balance of this year. I just don't. I really don't see any strong markets for the next 18 months. Until 2025 hits, I don't think we're going to see strong steel prices. You got higher interest rates, you have higher energy costs, you have a presidential election happening, and all these things matter. They really do, and they factor in, as well as the entire world raising interest rates in most parts of the world. I know that the Chinese spoke about decreasing some of their interest rates to try to also increase some stimulus and move their economy a little bit, but that's not going to be a world movement ticker that's really going to jump steel prices from 200 to 400. That's just not going to happen right now. But the oil prices are up, so I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see anything good for the market for the rest of the year. Same with stainless prices. I mean, nickel markets kind of flat week over week, trading around $20,000 per ton, but stainless steel prices are really kind of poo-poo right now. 3 or 4 stainless will pull up some of the average prices right now. 304 is generally kind of my go-to for stainless. 32 cents a pound, down 11% month over month. Those are really just not great prices. And if you look at some of these prices reported, 30 cents is kind of where the average is. Looks like someone hit the button way too many times in Winston-Salem. Kind of flood that market with 30 cents a pound stainless, but that really is kind of what the market is right now. I think my scrapyard is paying 35 cents a pound. It's a very low profit item right now. It's really one of those things where people got very upset. If you look at some of these markets, 316, 62 cents, 304, 32 cents, 29 cents, kind of where the range is right now, especially with nickel prices down. Catalytic Converters, always brought to you by rrcats.com. Again, I hate to just continue to repeat myself, but not a lot of positive news week over week. We have seen platinum and palladium prices increasing. Average catalytic converter cost jumped over that $83 mark. We're looking at $84 for an average OEM cat right now. But what is good is you're continuing to get free shipping on OEMs from rrcats.com. You're also getting those 10-day price lock guarantees. So if the markets do go down, your price is locked in for 10 business days, and that's a really positive thing. So check out the team at rrcats.com, get some quotes, figure out what's going on with those markets, and sign up for our newsletters. We have a bunch of information not only to show you how to make more money with your cats, but what to look for, half full cats, empty cats, how to ship them. So check out rrcats.com today. Hey, if you haven't bought a t-shirt from us, we're actually running out of a couple of our different t-shirts right now. Sizes are starting to go out the door. We have limited quantities for different styles of shirts. So if you're looking to get a t-shirt or a hat or a phone case, please check that out. We have a link below that you can click on. And don't forget, we're continuing to produce member-only videos on YouTube. We have videos that we're trying to push out there at least once a week, letting just the YouTube members knowing what's going on with the scrap market before we do these weekly reports. Or if something comes out, the day after, they're getting some videos. And they're also getting tips that we don't share to everyone. So check that out. It's a really cool spot, and we answer your questions before we answer other people's questions. We make videos on topics that YouTube members want to see before some of the other topics. So we really try to push that, so we get some good feedback and some good content created from everything. So, other than that, we have a few new blogs out. We have some irony aluminum blogs out teaching you about dirty and irony aluminum prices. So check out some of the blogs that we have online. That's going to give you good information on how to sort and separate your materials there. And one thing that we had on the development side of things, we know that some scrap yards were kind of appearing in the middle of the ocean. We've been fixing that, and that should be fixed. Is it done already? It's already done. And that shouldn't happen again. And we had one of our users let us know that there was an issue. So any problems that you see on the iScrap App's website, the mobile app, the native app for iPhone or Droid, please just let us know. Shoot us a quick text message, or quick email, or even comment on one of these videos, and we'll make sure our development team hops on that to give you a very smooth process overall. So, copper prices up slightly, aluminum relatively flat, brass prices are hovering around $1.92 to $1.95 for yellow brass based on those reported prices. And don't forget, the more prices you report, the more transparency that you help create in the scrap industry, and that's what we've been doing for the last 11 or 12 years. So help us continue to make that push. Scrappers, my name is Tom. Today is Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. Until next week, I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for checking out this scrap video. For more exclusive scrap video content, please become a YouTube member of our channel today. Thank you, and I'll scrap you later.